All right, Nick, let's talk about the Southern Cal Trojans. This is a team narrowly missed the college football playoff last year. I think they look very good this year, and they have a better outlook for future classes as well. I know that is hard to believe, but this is a team, I think they're doing everything right, and they're doing some things just a little bit better than everybody else. I think there's some really impressive numbers to go through about the Southern Cal Trojans and how they're kind of getting guys in and the recruiting department. But Nick, I think this is going to be really interesting, and I think the Southern Cal fans are going to like what we have to say.
Yeah, I think this is a great report you dug up. We're just highlighting exactly what Riley is doing there over at USC. But before we get into that, Trojan fans, I want to ask you guys kind of an interesting question, kind of a challenging question for you guys to answer in the comment section below. What recruit, we're going to focus on 2023 now, what recruit that has joined the USC Trojans program are you most excited to see suit up this fall? A lot of great names, a lot of interesting names. I'll even throw in some transfers there too. What recruit or transfer are you most excited to see this fall for USC? Let us know in the comment section below. All right, Miles, but I'll throw it back to you now. What's the latest out of LA?
Yeah, Nick, the Trojans have a lot of really great stuff going for them, but I think there's a really hidden message about quality over quantity here, and that's specifically in the recruiting department, Nick. And I'm going to pull up an image here, kind of has the recruiting rankings for this 2024 class. And as you see here, Southern Cal ranked 7th. Very, very good. Really impressive to be up in that top 10 number there, showing that you're doing a really good job. But there's more to it, Nick. If we look over at the composite ranking, that is a total of all the players that a teams have recruited, and it gives you an average and shows you the quality of player on average a team is breaking. And you look at the top, you got Georgia's and Ohio State's, they're at that 93 level. You got Florida at 92. Then you get down Michigan, Notre Dame, Penn State at 90, but then we get to Southern Cal, and they're at 92 as well. And you think, well, what is going on here? How are they so low, but they're still have high quality players? That's because Southern Cal has had a more bang for their buck approach. They have less recruits than most of these schools, but they have much higher quality recruits. So really, Nick, if you look at it, they're kind of in that number 4 spot. You compare them to a team like Michigan, a team like Penn State. Southern Cal, 15 commits so far in this 2024 class. Penn State has 20 and Michigan 24. So they have 10 more guys than Southern Cal. Southern Cal still keeping up with them. When you have more guys, you can average that number together, gives you a little bit disparity. Your worst guy doesn't kind of drag your ranking down quite as much if you have more people in the middle. Southern Cal has less people in the middle and still lapping teams like Penn State and Michigan and their fellow compatriots when they go join the Big Ten as far as quality of player. I think this is really interesting, Nick. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the Trojans?
So I think what Lincoln Riley has done, and he did it in Oklahoma too, and he's doing it with Southern Cal. We've seen it in the transfer game. He has a clear-minded focus of the kind of players he wants, especially when it comes to positions. He's like, look, I understand we need to fill out our roster. We need to have 7, 8 wide receivers, 3, 4, 5 running backs. I get it. This is what Lincoln Riley is thinking. But to win and compete, I just need to be really good at quarterback, have 2 great wide receivers, 5 good offensive linemen, 2 great pass rushers, 3 good corners, so on and so forth. I don't need to have the craziest 2 deep in the world and be ultra competitive trying to compete with Ohio State, Michigan, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, whoever for my number 4 corner and waste a lot of time and money going after a number 4 corner. If I can just find good quality players at my guy who I think is going to start, my number 2 corner, my starting running back, my number 2 wide receiver, and so on, and focus really hard on there, I can get those guys. I can guarantee I'll bring them into the fold, and the effect will be exactly the same. And I think that's an important point to realize here. And that's exactly what Riley is doing in the recruiting department. So many of these programs, especially these big programs, these blue bloods, they feel like they have to get in a battle for every recruit, even though he's probably going to be a special teams guy the first 3 years of his career. He'll be their number 5, tight end or something. We buried in the depth chart for 3 years and eventually transfer out. Lincoln Riley doesn't want that, obviously. You want to focus on guys that are going to contribute, guys that are going to play, impact players for your team. Focus all your effort on 10, 12, 15 impact players. Make sure you bring them into the fold instead of spreading out your time and energy over 30 guys. Because even if you bring in some of those 30 guys, you may get stuck with 3 tight ends that are, 2 stars. Hey, great, you got 3 2-star tight ends. Fantastic. What you really needed was 1 4-star right guard. Well, you lost them because you split all your effort between a bunch of other people. I think what Lincoln Riley here is recognizing the folly of a lot of big time recruiting. That's one of the things you get when you bring in a younger, younger, more dynamic, more think differently kind of coach. He has a different approach to how to win games, how to bring in talent, how to build your entire roster. And we're seeing it from Southern Cal. And that's why what we're seeing with the Trojans in terms of performance on the field, this is not the Caleb Williams effect, where when he's gone, USC is going to dip again. I think this is a program set up for long-term success, and it's just because of how Lincoln Riley operates and run this team. He is really one of the brighter minds, not just in calling plays, but in roster construction in college football.